Well, believe it or not, it is day number 14 from the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. A beautiful look at the Old White Golf Course to your right and on your left. Our home for the 45th season of World Team Tennis, center court at Creekside as the Philly Freedoms get set to take on the Orlando Storm. Glad to have you with us here this morning on Facebook Live as well as on CBS All Access. Hi, everybody. I'm Nick Gismondi. Another full day of action coming up for you today from the Greenbrier, and we kick it off right away with the hottest team in World Team Tennis, the Philly Freedoms. Teams almost in action every day, so there is very little time for rest. Yesterday was no different. Here's a look at how day number 13 played out. New York Empire kicked things off with a big win over the Vegas Rollers, and some incredible play by Kim Clijsters there. She was down and came back as a sub at 3-1 and ended up winning that. The Orange County Breakers were our second match of the day, taking on these Philly Freedoms, and Taylor Townsend was absolutely spectacular. They improved to 8-1 with a 22-21 victory over the Breakers. And then our final match of the night, the Washington Castles and the Chicago Smash. Brandon Nakashima was absolutely brilliant with wins in men's doubles and men's singles. A huge one against Tommy Paul, 5-1. And then, of course, we saw Venus Williams getting set and taking on Sloane Stevens. Sloane Stevens and Venus in an epic battle there. All right, a look at today's schedule. A busy one, as we said. Potential playoff preview as teams 1 and 3 matching off early. And then the Breakers and Springfield Lasers will meet at noon. After that, we'll see the San Diego Aviators taking on the Washington Castles. And we'll close the night out with the second-place team in the league, the Chicago Smash, taking on those New York Empire. 7-2, the Chicago Smash in their first year in World Team Tennis history. Now, everybody in the top 4 makes the playoffs. Those 5, 6, 7, 8 still in the mix a little bit. You could even say that Orange County still has some room to wiggle and make some headway here. But remember, the top 4 teams make the playoffs. Those start on August 1st and will conclude on August 2nd. Winner coming away with $500,000 and the King Trophy. All right, well, the two gentlemen calling this one, Jeff Chisever, Mark Lucero, they're standing by. Boys, take it away.
Let's go, Gizmo. All set here for day 14. I'm Jeff Chisever, calling this match with longtime WTA and ATP coach Mark Lucero. Mark, Philadelphia Freedoms, 8 wins, just 1 loss so far. Almost took the L yesterday against the Breakers, but Taylor Townsend comes up huge for them again.
Philadelphia snuck their way out of the match yesterday with the Orange County Breakers. Breakers had a big lead early. Taylor Townsend came in, women's doubles, a 5-3 win, tied the match up, heading into the to the mixed doubles. Taylor Townsend, 9 out of 11 first serve points won down the stretch. Got the huge win yesterday for Philadelphia.
She's just 2 years removed from her MVP season. We got 2 of the top 4 teams in the league about to face off, and it all starts with men's doubles. Fabrice Martin and Donald Young for Philly, Tennys Sandgren and Skupski for Orlando. Freedom in the Breakers. First ball when we come back.
World Team Tennis is World Team Tennis is brought to you by Geico. Did you know that Geico is now offering an extra 15% credit on car insurance? That's on top of what Geico could already save you. Visit geico.com to learn more. By the Greenbrier Valley in West Virginia, home to scenic trails and quiet rivers, friendly mountain towns, and America's resort, the Greenbrier. And by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app and use promo code WTT to play free for thousands of dollars in prizes this season.
Just about to get underway. Freedoms and the Storm. Let's take a look at the Wilson lineups. Home team manager sets the order of play. That would be Jay Gooding. Mark, does anything stick out to you?
Jessica Pegula doing a lot of heavy lifting for the Storm. She likes playing 3 events in a row, but I'm looking out, where's Taylor Townsend in the lineup? That's where the Freedom are most dangerous.
I feel like a lot of times we've started out with singles. Maybe that's just the matches I've been calling, but interesting to see men's singles go last. Gooding wants to end with Tennis Sandgren, but here we are starting off with men's doubles. Sandgren serving to Donald Young. Fabrice Martin has been their mainstay in the doubles lineup. We've seen a rotating between Fritz and Donald Young. Donald Young played yesterday. They got the 5-4 win. It's going to be DY again with the Frenchman.
Philadelphia has a deep lineup. At the same time, it's important for Coach Carden or coaches that have teams like that, make sure everyone gets into the lineup, gets a bunch of match play, so that when you get into the playoffs, you can find the matchups and the teams that you like.
Yeah, that's a good call. We've seen Fritz and Martin play huge serves. We were maybe quick to say, oh, go with them, but keep everyone happy. Donald can play, and you need to keep the camaraderie high.
And you need to make sure everyone's sharp when they go into the home stretch.
The Freedoms are 3rd in the league in men's doubles, winning 53% of their games, 41 and 36. The Orlando Storm are 4th, 52%. Obviously, those margins are thin.
40-30. Game, Orlando, first game.
Storm lose the first 2 points, down love 30. They get the next 4. Let's take a look at this fast-paced format that we love about World Team Tennis. Equal gender participation. Sets are to 5, 9-point tiebreaker for all, and we also have sudden death points. No ad, let's let him play. Yeah, lets her in play. Like I said, no ad scoring. And it's not about the sets you win, it's about the total amount of game substitutions, coaching allowed between the players, in between points. Everyone gets involved here at World Team Tennis. This is an early start, 9 a.m. You can kind of feel it. It's the first time I felt a little cold out here, actually.
Yeah, Philadelphia's played actually a couple early morning matches. They were out here early warming up. When you talk about a 9 a.m. match, you need to count backwards and think about the process it takes to get ready for the match. What time am I going to eat breakfast? I need to let my food settle. What time am I going to get in the gym and loosen up? And then what time do I actually start hitting? Sangren getting so far into the court. Loves to hit second serve returns from inside the baseline. Take the ball early with a short backswing. Create tremendous angle with a strong left hand in that backhand.
Good overheads there from the Freedoms. Nice job of Donald getting back on that second one.
Couple massive returns from Sangren. He's really seen the ball big today.
We saw the backhand cross court. That one, he takes the forehand a little late there. You know he's taking this next deciding point.
Yeah, that's a missed spot there from Fabrice Martin, right in the pocket on the forehand side.
Game Orlando.
And we got our first ball launched outside the stadium. I guess that's how it feels when you go down an early break, especially when you have a game point.
Great backhand return from Sangren. Another good return. Be able to get it right down the feet, make Martin volley up.
Which is pretty nice dig out there.
Yeah, nicely handled actually, but a pretty good look at a pass there for Tennys Sangren. They look like 2 up, 2 back that you probably played at practice. Jeez.
They just were looking for ways to get it by the duel at the net for the Storm. They couldn't do it. We saw 3 swinging volleys from Donald. Last one catches the net.
Look at the hands from Sangren and Skupski just volleying it back, keeping the ball deep.
He's all right. I think he just tripped over his feet there going for that two-handed volley.
Tennys Sangren with a pretty good move. Trips over the center stripe, and glad he's okay. Oh, what a backhand pass. You cannot give him time on that backhand. Tennys Sangren, one of the best backhands of the American men. Does a great job getting full extension on this backhand.
Great job generating pace when no pace was given to him. Trips on the last play, makes up for it on the next.
40-15.
Nice squeeze from Fabrice Martin. He gets very tight to the net. He's got to thank DY for getting that return down at the feet, making Skupski pop up that half volley.
Give him the assist on that one. Still 2 game points for the Storm. Out to an early lead here, up a break.
This deciding point. Receivers.
Another thing we didn't mention, Storm were off yesterday. Freedoms played 3 p.m. They were off the court around 6 or 7. Maybe something to do with the, I don't want to say sluggish start for the Freedom, but Storm were up an early break. Back to DY for the deciding point.
Game Orlando.
That time to go I formation.
Ken Skupski gets so much direction on that serve, giving his man Tennis Sangren an easy volley at the net.
All smiles for the Storm early on. That's James Ward.
Donald Young is a very underrated serve. Got a nice live left arm.
Crazy to think
30 love.
we saw 31 years old. I feel like forever he's been the youngster coming up. Makes me feel a little old up here.
Donald Young really gets that serve moving away from the right-handed player. So much spin on it. You can hit the spin both directions, the slider and the kick.
Don't want to face another deciding point when you're down 0-3. All of a sudden, you can feel it. The Freedoms really want this point. Get on the board. Stop the bleeding.
Deuce. Deciding point.
Where do you like this serve going to? You know it's going back to Sangren. He's dialed in on the return.
I think you need to make him uncomfortable here. You either need to really hammer him in the body or hit the wide serve so he's got to stretch to the backhand and Fabrice Martin will be able to move. But if you miss your spot, Tennis Sangren's going to make you pay.
Oh, what a bad break for the Freedoms. And most of the time you see the let cord help the server. In that case, it went the Storm's way. They're up 2 early breaks, 4-0 against the first place Philly Freedoms. You see the let cord and you get excited. Look at his eyes light up. Storm up, 4-0. Back here, second half of men's doubles. only 15 minutes into this match, and this first set could be over quickly. Storm up 4-0, Sandgren with the chance to serve it out for the bagel. $5-0 to start, Mark. That is really tough to come back from.
That would be huge for Orlando. They're trying to solidify their position in the playoffs, create some separation from the rest of the pack.
Out! 30 love.
These are two of the top 4 teams in the league. You see right there, Storm 5 and 4, Freedoms at the top. Top 4 make the playoffs.
Out! 40 love.
If there's a time that you're going to blow an overhead in the net, make it be when you're at 4 love, 40 love.
I was going to say Ken Skupski making every club player feel better with that overhead.
Game, first set, Orlando.
It's an early 9 a.m. start local time between the Freedoms and the Storm come out on fire, taking this first set in about 15 minutes. They're up 5-0, and we will transition to women's singles. It's going to be Kenin and Pegula right after this.
Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have women's singles, and let's meet the competitors. We'll start to the chair's left, 21 years old from Moscow, Russia, who represents the United States. She has won 2 singles 30 seconds here in Lyon, and also the Australian Open was her first Grand Slam title. Has also participated with the U.S. Fed Cup team. Ladies and gentlemen, world number 4, Sophia Kenin.
15 seconds.
And to the right of the chair, from Buffalo, New York, who won her first title in Washington, D.C. at the City Open last year, but was a finalist in Alton this year.
Last service, last 2018. Sir, in doubles was a finalist at Indian Wells. And this year was her first top 100 career.
She's the 2020 Aussie Open champ, number 4 player in the world. That makes her the top-ranked female here, World Team Tennis 45th season. Sophia Kenin taking the court in this second set of 5 sets. Freedoms taking on the Storm, and she is going to be inheriting a 0-5 deficit. That's tough to claw out of, but if you're down, I think you want Sophia Kenin coming up for your squad.
I'm really looking forward to this match. Jessica Pegula has been very good for the Orlando Storm. She's right behind Kenin in the league leaders. And Jeff, 2-0 career head-to-head for Pegula.
And that last match was in 2018, hardcore, good call, 3-set win. Take a look at that. First time they've lost 5-0. It's going to be Pegula serving to Kenin in the near court. Mark, great point. First place in the league, women's singles, it's the Freedoms. They win 65% of the games, but second place is Orlando. Pegula is 20-15 so far.
Sonia Kenin does that so well, changing direction with the backhand when she has time. Great hand to the net from Jessica Pegula. Playing doubles this season has really benefited her. She's played a ton of doubles, a lot of mixed. Got an opportunity to hit a lot of volleys of the net, working that transition game.
Mark, there's been some obvious storylines, Kim Kleister's ball and Ken and Fritz, but Jessie Pegula, maybe one of the more impressive, underrated stories of the season so far, I'd say.
Great serve down the tee. Yeah, she's really developed her game over the last couple years and really sort of grown into it. She won her first career title last season, and this year has played great singles for the Storm.
Yeah, here's the UTR, and this UTR is only going to improve for Pegula because these results count, and she has some great results thus far. But Kenin obviously with the edge. Number 4 ranked player in the world.
That's a tough ball for Sophia Kenin. She doesn't really like to generate pace on her forehand side. She's much more comfortable when players go hard, low, and she can redirect. If you get the ball low and slow or high on her and she has to generate her own pace, she's not as comfortable.
Pegula, would you say, has more power than Kenin?
Yeah, Jessica Pegula is a big hitter, clean ball striker. She has great timing. She can rush Kenin, take time away. But if she's not on it with her depth, Kenin will have time to dictate, especially with her backhand. The serve of Kenin is something that's really improved over the last year or so. Really helped her out when she's playing the big hitters on tour. She's got a lot more free points lately.
30-40.
Facing 2 break points that go down 7-0 early. We said earlier, Pegula does have the 2-0 head-to-head over Kenan. Philadelphia Freedom's 8-1. Feeling great as far as making the playoffs and probably going to be the overall 1 seed. But in tennis, it's an individual sport. No one wants to go out there and lose, especially when you're losing big 5-0 in that first set.
Yeah, good move from Coach Carden here, calling the Geico timeout, talking it over with Sophia Kenin, calm her down, give her something specific to focus on executing this point. That's what happens when you don't get the depth. That ball is maybe a foot past the service line. Kenin has plenty of time to redirect.
Great job playing through the sideline there, especially facing a break point, deciding point here in the second game.
And there's the depth we're looking for. In the women's game, there's so many clean ball strikers. As a player, you need to figure out how you can make that player play badly, because it's very easy to help that player play better if you're not hitting the ball with depth. Jessica Pegula, great depth on this return, so much length.
Pretty good depth right there, too.
And a Storm working on a shutout right here.
Shh, you don't want to blow it. It's like the perfect game in baseball. I don't think they're going to win 25-0, Mark. Everyone loves player comparisons. I call them after Luke Jensen, and he knows Pegula isn't this player yet, but he was bringing up Jennifer Capriati and Lindsay Davenport as far as just being one of the cleaner, bigger hitters.
Yeah, I like the Capriati comparison. Just good tempo, hits the ball big through the court.
I feel like a lot of people get upset when you hear an extreme comparison, but that's what it's there for. It's just to give fans something to measure their game at. These are players you know. You know the names Lindsay Davenport, Jennifer Capriati, just to give you an idea of the power and the way she strikes the ball.
Game, Orlando. Orlando lead.
We said World Team Tennis is fast-paced, and this match is coming fast at the first place Philadelphia Freedoms, down 8-0 now. Only 1 loss this season, you see right there, to New York. Since then, they've won 6 in a row. And a lot of smiles on the bench from the Freedoms. And that's what it feels like when you're 8-1 and you're in complete command in the standings.
Good team love.
First time Sonia Kenin strung a couple points together. Her job now is keep building.
30-15.
There's that sweep back in.
40.
Takes it late up the line.
Bay Philadelphia.
Well done from Sophia Kennan, and the Freedoms get on the board, but it's after 8 games from the Storm. The Freedoms find themselves down 7 here early.
Now 30 seconds.
It's all about how many games you win in World Team Tennis. Right now, the Freedoms are down 7. Here's a look at Sophia's success in week 1. She got that one loss to Kleisters, but when you're winning 5-0, 5-1, you're really doing some good damage for your squad. Week 2, 5-2, 5-3.
Yeah, tough timeout yesterday against Jennifer Brady. Brady played a really good set, probably one of her best sets of the season. Great backhand return. Jessica Pegula needs to realize right here, this is a dangerous part of the set for her. Sometimes when you're playing, when you're playing a top player like Kennan, keep the pressure on. Focus on your depth.
She's up 3-1, but it's just one break.
30.
Here come the come-ons from Kennan. You just have a feeling she's going to claw herself back in this match.
Well, she's going to try for sure. She's a great momentum player. She can ride the wave.
Starting to feel it a little bit.
Well, notice the way that Pegula's playing. Like, she is letting Kennan do what she wants to do. Pegula needs to be the one who's aggressive here. Put Kennan on her heels, back her up.
She gets the break. And Mark, in that 4th game, Kennan was down, and we saw that Geico timeout. Another great example of just a difference in World Team Tennis. You hear from your coach, hear from your players, and she's been lights out since that timeout.
Yeah, and the last game on Kennan's serve, Coach Carden probably would have used another timeout if the game got close again. If Pegula had closed the gap in that game, but Kennan was able to obviously pull away.
Love 15.
You know, conversely, for Orlando, keep an eye on Coach Gooding. He might be well served to use a timeout sometime this game if Pegula gets down.
Love 30.
It's so interesting when you look at matchups and when you look at how players play in particular periods of a set. Like, do you know your identity as a player, and do you stick to that in all moments? Like Pegula, I would say, strayed from her identity the last couple games. Are you committed to playing like that? The other thing for her, she's someone who's become a much better mover in the last year and a half. She's worked really hard on her fitness and on defending, but sometimes lost in that when players improve in those areas. They get a little bit away from their plan A.
Stick to her bread and butter. That's hard, that's deep, and you like it up the middle against Kenin.
I do like that because Sonia Kenin, if you get her moving just a little bit, she gets angles to work with. And again, all of this is easier said than done.
Well, of course. That's what we pay you to do.
So good when she's about 4 feet either direction from the center hash. She gets these angles and she gets you moving. That's right where she loves to be.
And early on, she was going up the middle, but she's still able to find the angles and make it into that rally where you're going through the sidelines. 2 straight points, 30 all now here in the 6th game. Fourth double fault. Tough spot for that one. 2 break points for Pegula.
Deuce, the signing point. Receivers good.
Who's taking the deuce? I think your favorite return is that backhand down the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, Orlando's taking a Geico timeout.
Great timeout.
Yeah, so much fun about World Team Tennis. There's a lot of mental battles here. She gets that point, she's got to come on, but say, hey, slow down, Sophia. You're gonna have to think about this one a little extra.
Orlando has 1 Geico timeout remaining. Time.
Pegula, the
Game
depth.
Orlando.
The slice she dug out of the corner pushed Kenin back behind the baseline. It's the defense from Pegula, and that's too far back to hit a drop shot from. Even for Sonia Kenin, one of the best drop shots in tennis.
And Mark, something underrated, it's tough to hit a drop shot off a slice. You just saw our coach, Alex, in the corner there, did not like that shot selection. But
He's a slash, coach slash dad. backhand down the line from
30
Pegula.
left.
When she shows Kenin that she's willing to change direction first, it makes Kenin sort of back off. You know, it makes her respect the power of Pegula. Respects the power of her opponent, she backs off the baseline and she becomes a little less aggressive. She goes a little more into retriever mode, and when she does that, she's easier to play.
And we saw Kenin with the drop shot attempt. This time it's Pegula. Kenin's there, it floats long. We got a little racket chuck in the net from the Aussie Open champ.
Forty, 15. Game, second set.
Jessie Pegula certainly has the number of Sofia Kenin. She's now beaten her 3 times, and they've now faced each other 3 times. So Pegula gets the 5-2 win in women's singles. They are now up 10-2 in the total column, and a great showing here from the Storm as we transition over to mixed doubles. Jessie Pegula having a great World Team Tennis season.
Tennis One, the official app of World Team Tennis. The one place for all your favorite teams. Get live player stats all through your phone. Watch international pay-per-view live with exclusive Roundview Live. Download Tennis One, the official app of World Team Tennis. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, mixed doubles. For the Philadelphia Freedoms, a winner of 6 doubles crowns, including this year in Adelaide, moving up to the chair's left, Fabrice Martin. 30 seconds. Will be joined to the chair's right, the former WTT female MVP, award winner, Taylor Townsend. Back over to the chair's left, played college tennis at LSU, winner of multiple titles on tour, played with his brother Neil. Ladies and gentlemen, Sir Skupski.
Storm are up 10-2. Thanks for this effort from Jessica Pegula. She gets the 5-2 win over Sophia Kennan, moving Kennan around clearly because Kennan is the Chosen Foods mover of the match.
This is a great stat for Jessica Pegula, making her opponent run that much more than she did. Shows she controlled the baseline, she controlled the middle of the court.
She's now beaten the Aussie Open champ in the 3 times they've faced each other. What a confidence booster for Pegula. We said she was one of the underrated stories so far, and now she improves to 25-17 on the season. 8 games in a row for the Orlando Storm, now find themselves up 10-2 heading into mixed doubles.
15 left.
Skupski going hard at the former league MVP. Philly 3rd in the league. And, oh, I'm sorry. That was women's doubles. Philly's 4th in the league in mixed doubles. Orlando 8th.
Yeah, these next 2 events for the Orlando Storm are where there are significant margins in games 1.
Fabrice Martin, 1st in the league in mixed doubles as an individual, winning 56% of his games. There are some players with higher percentages, but they don't qualify because you got to play a certain amount of games, and Martin is definitely in there basically every time for the Freedoms in mixed. Still plenty of time for the Freedoms to cut into this lead. 3 more sets, but if you're Orlando, just get holds of serve, take care of your serve, and just keep that lead.
Oh, big return from Taylor Townsend.
40-30.
Taylor Townsend, very quick hands, great reactions. Just really good at neutralizing the male player's serve in mixed doubles.
Game, Orlando. First game, 3rd set.
11-2 now. Taylor Townsend yesterday, they were down 2 going into the 4th set. Townsend comes in, takes care of women's doubles and mixed doubles. Now they find themselves down 8 going into the 3rd and 4th sets. Now it's 9. The 5th set will be Fritz and Sandgren in men's singles.
Ken Skupski came out on fire this set.
15.
Maybe he likes the 9 a.m. start.
Coach Gooding before the match actually told me that Ken Skupski's an early bird.
Oh, here we go. Well,
And I know because I got up early for coffee yesterday and there was only one guy awake and it was him. Out on the patio having a nice, maybe tea as an Englishman.
he's just assuming so. Tea time's usually a little later, Mark.
Maybe an
Coffee
English
in the morning.
breakfast tea, you know?
Yeah.
Fabrice Martin is looking for a game like this where he can pump a couple serves in there, get a couple easy points. Should have that slow start in the men's doubles. He needs a game like this, get the confidence going.
40-15.
6'6" Frenchman, 2016 Male Rookie of the Year. Last year, he was second in the league in men's doubles, going 30 and 25. So the two men hold. We will now get a look at the Pegula serve and then Townsend.
I also had a chance to chat with Jessie Pegula after her warm-up this morning. She was saying she loves playing 3 sets in a row, likes to keep going. She gets warmed up. It's not too much tennis. She just, likes getting out there and playing.
Only a few players in the league that are doing that much heavy lifting for their squads, playing 3 sets basically every time out. Pegula's one of them, and she's thriving.
What a move. Ken Skupski was at the center strap before the ball even arrived.
Gets jammed up, but still able to get enough pace on it.
Just a textbook moves from the split step, straight diagonal, right to the net strap. Once you're there, you're covering almost 3/4 of the court.
Yep.
I give a lot of credit for this missed return to Ken Skupski because he is just at the net, moving to the middle. The return doesn't know where he is. Did a great job distracting the returner, making the server's job easy.
Yep. Game, Orlando. Orlando leads 2-1.
This is the first place Philadelphia Freedoms 8-1, and then check out the Storm there at 5-4. Top 4 make the playoffs. Difference between 6-4 and 5-5 for the Storm is huge. Not to mention beating the first place Freedoms, getting the confidence up.
Yeah, the Washington Castles are right there at 4-5, nipping at the heels of the Empire and the Storm.
The Empire later tonight are going to be taking on the Smash. The top 4 teams will be playing each other today. 4 matches of World Team Tennis on day 14.
$15.
Reese Martin slowly picking up momentum. For big servers, when you pump a couple first serves, get a couple free points and aces, your confidence builds. As a big server, you don't like when you get broken. You don't like when people hit your returns back in play. After a good service game, the rest of your game can elevate, and that's what we're seeing right here.
We've seen Skupski do that a few times, moving to his right, ensuring he gets that forehand. Nothing Martin can do about that one.
Jessie Pegula right there showing how that serve from Townsend makes for such an awkward return coming into the body.
hold for Townsend. 2-all in mixed doubles.
2 games all.
But the key number right there is a 12-4 lead for the Storm. They have come out on fire here for this 9 a.m. start. Take a look at the beautiful Greenbrier Resort, which we are home here for 22 days. So lucky to be here. Second half of mixed doubles when we come back. The Storm are taking it to the Freedoms. They're up 12-4. It's just the first of 4 matches on the slate today. Breakers and Lasers, Aviators, Castles, and then we're coming back to call that last one, Mark. That's the Empire and Smash. I'm looking forward to that one. Sun is starting to creep out a little bit. Get a little warmer on court.
What a half volley, what a pickup.
Half volley with a little forehand swing on it.
Yeah, most of the time you see players hit half volleys and sort of just push it or shovel it, block it with a short swing, but Ken Skupski puts on the brakes and snaps the wrist through.
Boarding up.
A couple good smashes from the Freedom there. Taylor Townsend made a difficult overhead look pretty easy. That bounce one, and then Fabrice Martin.
Bye-bye. No better way to switch the momentum of a match. You can somehow
watch
win a
Pegula
game
right here.
down
She's
above
going to hit a
40.
two-hand forehand volley on the next shot. 2 hands, the helper, and Taylor Townsend with a nice swing volley down the middle.
First time we've seen that carving volley winner from Taylor. I feel like we see that 10 times a match.
Last point, we saw a swing volley. Here we see a nice textbook forehand volley from Taylor Townsend.
It was 40 love. Now it's deciding point. Something like this can really switch the momentum of a match. Get a break down 40 love. Male to male here on the deciding point in mixed. And no better way to capitalize on the momentum than get a winner down the line on the return. Taking that one-handed backhand late, Mark.
Oh, you do not want to get beat there. Ken Skupski should have reminded his partner, but Breese Martin likes to hit that down the line return on big points. Got to cover the line first. Make him beat you cross court.
Yeah, you've been calling that all season long. Martin loves the down the line return in the deuce and the ad. Third in the league in mixed doubles.
Love 15.
I like that pass from Jessica Pegula right at Martin. A lot of times in doubles, people have this need to create, keep it simple, go right at the net man on the first one. Best overhead in women's tennis, Taylor Townsend.
15 all.
Watch the way she tracks the ball. As soon as the lob goes up, heads up, eyes on the ball the entire way. That's how you make clean contact.
Such a live arm. Feel it rolling for the freedoms here a little bit. This time it's the backhand inside out. This is sweet.
Such a good point from the freedom. Early on, Taylor Townsend called a very vocal switch. And that's what they do so well in mixed doubles. There's not really a place in the court you can go. You don't want to go to Martin. You don't want to go to Taylor Townsend.
Game Philadelphia.
Don't look now, but what was once a much bigger lead has now been cut to 6. Obviously for the Storm, and you knew you were going to be up 6 in just the third set, you'd be happy. But the momentum is shifting, and you really want a hold here, get this back up to 7. Yeah, they won the first 8 games. And here's Philly getting 6 out of the next 10. Pegula now to serve.
15 love.
Yeah, watch Ken Skupski this game. Watch how he tries to help out his partner. He's going to be very active up at the net. Try to draw some errors, knock off some volleys. Oh, what a pass from Pegula. A couple passes in a row. She went right at the body of Martin. This one, soft angle.
Yeah, great variety. We've seen the thumper right into the body. And then to follow up with that really gets you on your heels if you're at the net facing her. She missed one, Mark.
40 up.
I stand by my assessment.
That she's still the best.
Yeah.
With a little smile there. Sometimes when you feel like you hit the weak serve and the opponent rips it at the net guy, you feel bad a little bit. But still 3 game points for the Storm.
part of the deal in mixed doubles, what you sign up for.
Definitely.
What a dig from Ken Skupski.
40-30, ladies and gentlemen.
Gonna take a timeout here, Orlando. Talk it over.
Last service game for the Storm, up 40 love. They get broken. They're up 40 love in this game, and now it's 40-30.
Great hands from Taylor Townsend, carving the inside of that ball. I think you have to go wide on the serve. Skupski move forward, cover the line, knock off a volley.
Go wide, they leave the line open, but I think that serve was deep enough in the box to draw the error. That's a nice hold for the Storm. As you felt the Freedoms were storming back. Freedoms now with the chance to serve out the set and get the 5-3 win, get this back within 6 with 2 sets to go. It's going to be Taylor to serve, and we're going to see a lot of I formation, that's for sure.
Out. 15 love.
Oh, Jessica Pegula had a good look at that forehand. Returns of serve are so crucial in doubles. This is why returns are so critical in doubles. You need to make the servers play at all times. First volleys actually are easier said than done.
And that's why it's that net person's job to try to limit the amount of first volleys that the server has to hit. That one gets to Taylor. She puts it in the net. Two great volleys there from Taylor. Pegula on her heels, throws up the lob. Three set points here for the Freedoms. What was once an 8-0 lead for the Storm, it is now 13-7. They've cut into that lead a little bit. 3 sets in, 2 to go. We've reached the halftime mark, and we're going to send it over to Nick Gismondi to get us caught up on all things WTT related. Another look at that first volley by Taylor, and then the backhand will drop volley right there. We'll be right back.
14. It was founded in 1778. Now the Greenbrier, America's resort, located in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, founded in 1778. The resort actually opened in 1913. There's over 50 indoor and outdoor activities and sports. 26 U.S. presidents have stayed at the hotel. The last one, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and it hosted the first ever Ryder Cup in 1979. Lots of golf courses here. Old White, which is where a TPC event was held, just off to our left a little bit, and played that course a couple of times while I've been here at the Greenbrier. I owe Nico Pareda a little bit of money right now, too, so we'll just keep that going. Glad to have you with us here again, everybody. I'm Nick Gismondi. We will get you back to action in just a few moments between the Storm and the Smash. But first of all, let's take a look at our DraftKings upcoming schedule for the Philly Freedoms. So not too many games remaining for them. Wednesday, they will take on Chicago, a massive match, as that will most likely again be a battle of 1 and 2. Chicago sitting at 7-2. They play tonight. The last time they met head-to-head, about 4 days ago, it was a victory for the Philly Freedoms. They'll also see San Diego twice, and they'll finish things off with New York on Thursday at 9 a.m. The Empire improved to 5-4, above 500. And the DraftKings remaining schedule for the Orlando Storm, who will also sit at 5-4. They've got Springfield, San Diego, New York, and then they'll close things out on Thursday against the Castles at 4 Eastern Time. The push for the playoffs and the King Trophy underway from the Greenbrier, and it continues right now as women's doubles will be next from the Greenbrier. A look at the number 1 and 18 tee there on Old White. Townsend and Dolhide against Pegula and Jurek when we come back after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up in our fourth set will be women's doubles. The Philadelphia Freedoms will send out Taylor Townsend and Caroline Dolhide.
Welcome back to the beautiful Greenbrier Resort. It's the first of 4 matches on day 14 of a 19-day regular season, 45th World Team Tennis season. We got the first place Freedoms taking on the Orlando Storm. Storm came out, got the first 8 games since then. The Freedoms have cut that lead a little bit, winning 7 out of the next 12 games. Now we got women's doubles, where Philadelphia is 3rd best in the league, winning 56%. Orlando 6th in the league. They will go with Jurek and Pegula, the only 2 women on their roster. This will be Dolhide to start in the near court, serving to Pegula. Mark, Pegula is playing her 3rd straight set. You were talking about that earlier with her.
Yeah, she likes this format. She likes especially playing 3 in a row, not having to sit and maybe get cool, get cold. She can go all the way through. Very important for her partner, Daria Jurek, to bring some energy.
There's a look at what Dolhide can do. 111 up the tee, and she had some spin on that too, right on the line. She hits a big ball.
Oh, she's very dangerous. Big kick serve. She can pop the first serve around 120 if she flattens it out. And there's the kick. And already She has a kick serve up there with a Madison Keys, a Samantha Stozer.
I mean, Urak was there, but could not get her racket on it so far into the stands. Urak moving to her left.
Yeah, what an angle. Watch the path this ball travels. It's going to end up by her teammates.
Not to mention her partner, Taylor Townsend, has a pretty nice kick serve, too.
That's the way you bounce back with an ace of your own.
99 up the tee. This is the best combo. When Pegula's serving, she's ripping from the baseline. Urak is doing her thing at the net.
Nice finish up net for Urak. Pegula was working on her serve motion, on that rhythm this morning. Coach David Witt was out on court with her. They were spending some time slowing it down on the bottom so you can sink the legs.
Slow one, I like that. Kind of like a slow take back in golf, right?
Yeah,
Sure, that
when
acceleration.
When you're slow in the bottom part of the motion, you can, from there, you can accelerate the racket. But if you're always going fast, you never have racket head speed because you're going on one constant motion.
Two quick holds for both squads. If you're the Storm, that's kind of the name of the game right now. Take care of your serve. You're up 6. Keep that lead pretty substantial going into men's singles, where it's going to be Taylor Fritz and Tennis Sandgren.
Serving for Philadelphia, Taylor Townsend. Love 15.
Nice rip from Pegula. The down the line return, always a great return in doubles. Keep that net person home, test out their hands.
Pegula in the mix was returning on the ad side. Now she's in the deuce. Helps to already gotten a whole set of looking at that Townsend serve.
Wow, great return with the forehand from Pegula. Down at the feet, Townsend.
15-30.
As we get into this points, Taylor Townsend is not going to get too many balls. Probably hit the return at her from there. When Orlando has time, they're going to try to pick on Carolyn Dollarhide at the net. Nice smash from Urak.
15-40.
Very important when Urak gets chances. She needs to put balls away. Nice job here with this overhead, not letting the ball come back. Well struck from Pegula.
Game Orlando.
When you're facing that I formation, I feel like a lot of times you're telling yourself, go up the line, pick a spot.
Yeah, pick a spot, commit to it. Make them react to you.
Catches the tape, but I wouldn't call that unlucky. It's one of those that kind of had a good chance of clearing it anyway. It was going in the whole way. Up an early break here are the Storm in women's doubles.
Love.
Yeah, a couple good serves from Urak to start this game. 2 great first serves.
Another good serve there for Urak. We're seeing the sun coming in and out. You see that affecting any of the players here with the serves?
You know, perhaps, maybe not with her sunglasses, but
Good point. You see Greg Harden get that. His workout's done for the day.
I
He's
saw
good
that
now.
limp. I saw that limp coming off the wall.
Yeah.
Coach Carden really toughing out a strained glute. Told me he got some treatment the other day. He's really working hard to get back out in the tennis court. Just perfect conditions right now. Wow, great point from Orlando. Jessica Pegula ducked just low enough to get out of the way of the Urak swing volley, and then a two-handed forehand volley from Jessica Pegula into the open court.
Pegula's ground strokes we talk about a lot, but her volleys have been very impressive as well.
That's why all this doubles is so valuable. Just become a better tennis player doing all these things in doubles.
World Team Tennis, a great opportunity for so many players. Jessica Pegula taking full advantage, playing great today. A big part of why the Storm are up 16-8, 15-8. (16-8). The Storm are taking it to the first place Freedoms. Dollarhide to serve down a break in women's doubles. Now is the time to make a move, and it might already be too late.
15 love.
Just kidding, it's never too late. This is World Team Tennis. We got extended play. We still have a set remaining.
Dollarhide's going with a steady diet of kick serves to the Urak backhand. Getting it out of the strike zone of the veteran.
When you have a kick serve like that, sometimes you just want to go kick serve on the first serve, like you're saying.
Yeah, plus it gives you time to get into the court. Jessica Pegula, even there, was inside the court, tried to get the ball above the, or before the bounce, before the big bounce above her head.
15.
Freedoms love the I formation in all formats. The men's doubles, the women's doubles. Give that returner a different look at the net. Take up space in the middle.
Game Philadelphia. Orlando leads 3-2.
The World Team Tennis official store is online. Log on to WTT.com and check out all the merchandise World Team Tennis has to offer. See some retro looks there. Nice little koozie there, coffee mug. WTT.com. 7 on that ace.
Out. 30 love.
Nice ball up the middle there from Pegula. Looked like Taylor was actually there with her forehand volley. Dahlheide takes a stab at it. Go Craig. Got a little skin there.
That was a massive return from Caroline Dahlheide. I thought it might have been touched. I thought that might have been a touch, and then this one wasn't coming back. Got the back of the Urak shoe, maybe got the ankle braces on that smash.
A
lot of pace on that return from Taylor Townsend. As the net man, when you're moving that place, soft hands absorb some of that pace.
Game Orlando.
Said she's been looking to improve the serve. It's really looked good here today.
Yeah, I think 3 free points that game off the first serve. Taylor Townsend's so good at the finishing shots in tennis, like hot volleys high above the net, the overheads, swing volleys. Nice finish, nice backhand volley.
We had a great look at that kick serve too, right on the tee, getting away from Urak, and then she loves anything slice on that forehand wing.
Yeah, and you rarely see Taylor Townsend play the ball to the wrong place. She takes that forehand back cross court, makes Urak hit up.
Out. 40 love.
So difficult as a returner when you rarely see the same ball 2 times in a row from the server. Taylor Townsend does such a good job moving locations, moving spins and heights.
Ball. Out. Game Philadelphia. Orlando leads 4 games to 3 for set.
Kick serve just flying off the racket of Urak. Storm still up 4-3. Chance to serve out this set. Get it back to 8 games going into the final set, and that is tough to come back from, especially in men's singles. When you have 2 big servers, you're probably not going to get broken that many times in a row.
Love 15.
But then you get a break here, you get the opportunity for the 9-point tiebreaker to get it within 5.
Yeah, great return from Townsend cross court. Daria Urak's going to see a lot of balls this game. She needs to be ready. She needs to be committed to being aggressive with her first shot.
That had it all right there. Improv reactions. Nice job by Dolahide to stay with the play on the net court.
Love 30.
Great defense from Jessie Pegula, keeping the point alive. She got a good look at this backhand. Carolyn Dolahide just quick hands.
And then the finisher.
What a point from Jessie Pegula. Wow.
Holding her ground so well when Taylor rips that forehand at her. Not to mention their spin on that forehand too.
Yeah, great job getting the racket back up to defend the second ball. Daria Urak, nice ball through the middle, keeping the point alive.
Kind of a big hold here. Let's say the Freedoms can get the break, win 5-4. They're down 5. It's not crazy to win singles by 2 games. Then it's 3 in extended play, and that could just be a 1-break situation. So key point here. Key point in the match for a hold for the Storm. Keep their distance.
Oh, what a point from Orlando.
Couple great lobs. I think Taylor wants that forehand back. Didn't know if she'd go up the middle. She's gonna dip it out wide. Great hands by Urak at the end.
Oh, we got a great first poach from Jessica Pegula. Maybe could have put the ball away. Taylor Townsend with a great lob, painted the baseline. Nice aggressive volley from Urak. That's what the Storm need, an aggressive Urak.
Game in 4th set.
There it
Great
is.
showing from the veteran Urak, picking up her partner who was playing her 3rd straight set. They get the win 5-3, and they're now up 18-10 as we head into the final set. That's going to be men's singles. Taylor Fritz, Tennis Sandgren. Orlando Storm taking it to the first place Freedom. See if they can hang on when we come back. Welcome back, and that score bug is not a typo. The Storm are up 18-10. Great showing all around, taking 3 of the 4 sets. Here is how we got here, and it started out in men's doubles. Whenever you get that 5-0 win to start, you are looking good for the rest of the match.
Great day so far from the Orlando Storm. Tennis Sangren now in for closing duty.
Pegula with the win over the number 4 ranked player in the world, Sofia Kenin. She continues to roll. And now we have men's singles. And if you're Sangren, you are feeling great with an 8-game cushion. But he is taking on the number 1 ranked male player in the league, Taylor Fritz. Taking a look at Sangren's numbers, winning a little over 50% of his games. Taylor Fritz, number 1 ranked player in the league, not just ATP rank, but also in the league, winning 57% of his games. Mark, these two have never met on tour, but they played twice in 2017.
Actually, back-to-back weeks, Taylor Fritz beat Tennis Sangren in a close match. I think 5 and 6 the first week in Aptos in Vancouver. He beat him 2-2.
Always cool to see one of the younger Americans taking on one of the veteran Americans. Sangren, 28 years old. Fritz, 22. Sangren played college tennis. Fritz did not. A lot of success early, especially in the junior Grand Slams. Big serve from Sangren. They're now up 9. Let's take a look at the UTR between these two. These results do count for the UTR in World Team Tennis. No surprise here that we got a little more than a slight edge for Taylor Fritz, Mark.
Yeah, UTR factors in your opponents, the players you've beaten, the players you've lost to, the score differential, heavily factors your most recent matches.
Of 15.
All these matches count for the UTR.
15 all.
Yeah, sometimes even matches just played to 4 games in the Fast 4 format. That's the minimum amount of games in order for it to count. These are played to 5 in World Team Tennis.
I've been all over Stephen Armitage trying to get the latest results from his engineers.
He's a busy guy.
The backhand down the line from Taylor Fritz is so good. Loves to go big cross court and then change line right away with his backhand.
Let cord in favor of Fritz there. A little misdirection for Sangren. These are the first. This is the first time these two teams have played each other this season, the Storm and the Freedoms. Yeah, they both went straight to the radar gun after that serve. 138. on the gun. Another look at the league standings. Past the halfway mark, each team plays 14 matches. There's the Freedoms at the top, 8-1. And then you got the Storm there at 5-4. I was actually told the Freedoms could clinch a playoff spot if they win and the Castles lose. But right now, not looking so great for the Freedoms. Down 8 games in this 5th set. Good look at the wingspan from Fritz on that return, backhand inside out, ends up following it to the net eventually.
Yeah, I like when Taylor Fritz is willing to step in on this backhand, step into the blue, take time away. With Sandgren so far back behind the court, behind the baseline, he's vulnerable to that play.
What I love about Fritz is when he's missing long. Almost like in golf, right? You never want to leave it short. And when he's missing long, it's not missing by much. Great depth.
Yeah, he really hits the ball through the court. That's how he pushes guys off the baseline. Tremendous depth.
No. 15-30.
Talked about seeing Taylor Fritz in the weight room a lot on their off days or even before or after his match. That's something he's focusing on.
He brought his guy Wolf Oswald here with him. They're really putting in the work in the gym, on the practice court. They're trying to make these matches feel like 4th or 5th sets of a Grand Slam. And the guy on the other side of the net spends a little time in the weight room as well, Tennis Sandgren.
That's a great point. Tennis Sandgren, 28 years old, a good example of sometimes you don't come into the prime of your physical shape in your late 20s. Here's Taylor, only 22, and focusing on that right now. That's big for him.
Deuce.
Deciding point here. Fritz typically likes that ad side. When he gets that kick serve backhand return, feels so good taking it early.
Game Orlando. Orlando leads 2-1 with set. Leads the match 20-11.
When Tennis Sandgren's at his best, he's coming forward in the court. Sometimes he can get very comfortable going into the let's make the points really physical mode and moving east to west. But when he takes balls early and transitions forward, he's very effective. He can use that athleticism in that sort of positive way.
They use their physicality in different ways. Taylor wants to dictate
15-11.
physically, but Sandgren, he's sometimes willing just to play defense and extend the points.
Yeah, he can use that physicality to break you down and to neutralize, but like I said, when he's at his best, he switches from defense to offense fast.
Right idea.
30 love.
Sandgren currently ranked 55 in the world, career high of 41, but you get the feeling that he's still improving, and he might get higher than that 41 that he reached.
Well, yeah, he's established himself as a force in the majors. The next step for him is week-to-week consistency in the events on tour. Part of that has to do with being healthy. He has a couple nagging things this year in Australia. He had a little knee issue that was nagging him that sort of carried through the rest of the spring.
(40-15). Game Philadelphia. Switch hands, please.
4 games into men's singles, and we have 4 holds of serve. The Storm are up 20-12. Taylor Fritz trying his best to get back into this lead. Storm in a commanding lead, 20-12 over the first place Freedoms. This is just the first of 4 matches we have today. Breakers and Lasers to follow, San Diego and Washington, and then another match we're looking forward to, New York Empire in Chicago Smash. A lot of big players there, Sloane Stevens, Kim Clijsters, Jack Sock. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, the Sangren backhand down the line is so dangerous, especially Fritz. Fritz often breaks open court when you can wrong foot him, make him react. You get a chance to step into the court after that. Oh, look at the touch.
Stretch there from Taylor Fritz doing his best Djokovic impression, moving to his left, getting that pass down low, but better feel from Sangren.
Yeah, the Fritz movement has improved quite a bit. He does a great job defending that first passing shot.
Taylor just used it was right. He said, screw it, I don't want to go for that one. Big serve, and then the touch with the dropper.
Yeah, a little Toys R Us right here from Tennys Sangren.
(40-15). Game Orlando.
Comfortable hold for Tennys Sangren.
3 games to 2. This set. Reached the match 21-12.
It's in good spirits back there. Wow, great backhand again. Taylor Fritz, he steps up into the court and can create that direction with the backhand.
So much sliding from Sandgren.
30 love.
Take a listen.
Some burnt rubber out there. You have to generate speed and force to create that sliding effect on the court.
Love watching that Fritz backhand. Just always leaning forward. You can feel his weight. Like you said, he's always going through the court with that shot. It's flat, but there seems to still be great margin with it.
Game Philadelphia.
Oh, and by the way, he has a huge serve. 3 games all. Kind of a tough spot because this is a team event and you're down so big. But then again, these players are used to an individual sport. You still want to go out there and get that win, and you want to show that fight. Keep the morale high within the squad.
Well, there also aren't many small egos out here.
Good call.
So when you're out there and you're playing one of your peers, not too many guys are out there laying down, and especially a guy like Taylor Fritz, Tennys Sandgren, establishing their pecking order on tour.
From the Sandgren perspective, not that Fritz is a target, but he's the top dog here as far as the men go. Not to mention they're both American, a lot of American men playing here. You want to get that win against that top dog.
Wow, great second serve.
30-15.
sideline a couple times, and that one just right on the back line. You can hear the physicality there out on the court. It's hurting my ears in my headphones. Easy on the sliding, tennis.
Game Orlando. Orlando leads 4-3. The set. They also lead the match 22-13.
8-1 on the season. The Freedoms only lost to the New York Empire. Since then, they've won 6 in a row. Maybe for the Freedoms, you're telling yourself, hey, you're going to lose some matches. Maybe get them out of the way now. Get your push late in the season for the playoffs, which is going to be August 1st and August 2nd.
Wow, what a serve out wide.
30-love.
Taylor Fritz has really worked hard on that serve, not just the power, but the consistency, the location, being able to place it on big points.
30-15.
Taylor Fritz's coaches, Paul Annacone and David Nakin, both spent a lot of time around another great server, Pete Sampras. One of the things that Sampras did so well was putting that serve in the exact spot that he needed to. He didn't miss locations by feet, he missed locations by inches. Wow, Tennis Ingram, what a shot.
Some high quality tennis right there.
What made that shot so effective was the diagonal that Tennis Ingram took. After he defends from the backhand corner, he's going to move it a diagonal towards the baseline instead of just east-west. He took court there. Tennis Ingram so fast from behind the baseline to get into the court, finding that forehand. That's the defense to offense.
2 match points here for the Storm.
Game set match, Orlando.
Taylor Fritz holding back some frustration.
13.
And that is a shocker in the scoreboard there, 23-13. Great job from every member of the Storm. Sandgren starts it out in men's doubles, finish it with men's singles. But in the middle of that match, we said Jessie Pegula is going to play 3 straight sets. She's our guaranteed rate player of the match. Well-deserved, Mark.
Yeah, well-deserved. What an effort today from Jessica Pegula, contributing in all aspects of the game. Great job on the singles court. Huge contribution in the women's doubles.
Great effort all around from Orlando, but no doubt that Jessie Pegula has to be the guaranteed rate player of the match. She gets the win over number 4 ranked player Sophia Kenin, backs it up with a win in women's doubles alongside Urak. Jessica with Nick Gismondi after our post-match interview, and is that Sandgren slugging a beer, putting the exclamation point on an amazing win for the Storm. Get it, tennis. Thank you for that. Dude, that was a Bud Light, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I saw that earlier.
You can do that too. You can do that too. I wouldn't judge. Wouldn't judge. I see you though. You're just.
World Team Tennis is brought to you by Geico. Did you know that right now, Geico is offering an extra 15% credit on car, motorcycle, and RV policies? That's on top of what Geico can already save you. So what are you waiting for? Visit geico.com to learn more. By the Greenbrier Valley in West Virginia, home to scenic trails and quiet rivers, friendly mountain towns, and America's resort, the Greenbrier. And by Chosen Foods. Join them in their sun-drenched utopia and visit chosenfoods.com. The avocado celebrated.
23-13 from the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Beautiful look at the grounds here hosting the 2020 World Team Tennis Season 45. Glad to have you here on Facebook Watch and CBS All Access. Nick Gismondi with you post-match. Highlights and more, and some analysis coming from Jeff and Mark in just a few moments. But right now, it's time for our Guaranteed Rate Player of the Match interview. Jessica Pegula joins us. Huge win for the Orlando Storm. Obviously, the Philly Freedoms, the team that everybody is talking about right now. But as the push for the playoffs is securely underway, you all are making some noise of your own. How'd you feel about the match today, and how big of a win is that against Philly?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that the last match was huge, and in this one we knew we were going to play a tough team, and we were just going to kind of put ourselves into the best position possible. But I think right away with the men's doubles, they just kind of set the tone for the whole day. And we honestly just played really solid the rest of the day, and we just took care of business. We tried to take advantage of the quick turnaround they had, because I know they had a night match last night and 9 a.m. this morning. So for us, it was great, and so far we're looking good.
Your win in particular against Sophia stood out for me. You were a big part of a lot of things today, but take me back to that match with Sophia Kenin. She has been brilliant this entire tournament. You have also been very good. So that matchup together seemed very dynamic to me. What was your strategy against Sophia today?
Yeah, I mean, Sophia's tough for me to play because she loves directing pace. That's what she does so well, and that's I like to hit the ball hard. So honestly, I thought I actually had to play a little defense today and kind of mix it up, which isn't really something I love to do, but I've been getting so much better at it in those situations when, she started playing pretty well there for a couple games, and I had to kind of figure it out. I also think I served really well in the beginning, and I had a couple big returns on big points. But yeah, I think I just had to play smart out there. I could tell maybe she was missing a few more than she wanted to, and I just really wanted to keep that lead and get that 5-2 win to help out the rest of the matches.
Take me inside the locker room, per se. What's the mentality of the Orlando Storm right now as you guys are putting yourselves in a playoff spot?
Yeah, I think we're all pretty laid back. I don't know. We're just laid back and taking care of business. I mean, we just go out there and support each other, and we have fun, and there's really no tension. There's it's just been pretty easygoing. I think we all want to win, and we're all competitive, and I think we just have a good team right now. And I think we won 3 in a row, so I think we just have to keep it going. But yeah, the team atmosphere has been good. It's just been competitive and focused, but laid back and having fun at the same time.
Orlando storming your way to the playoffs at the moment. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Jessica Pegula, our guaranteed rate player of the match, handed Sofia Kenin her worst defeat in the World Team Tennis season this year. Back with highlights and more right after this.
The Orlando Storm dominate from the start. They take 4 out of the 5 sets and beat the first place Philly Freedoms 23-13. It's time for our highlights between the Storm and the Freedoms. To start out with men's doubles, and if you want to set the tone early, maybe come out and win 5 love, Mark.
It was storming early. Tennis Sangren all over the net.
It was Donald Young playing alongside Fabrice Martin. Deciding points all going way of the Storm. Sangren serves it out, and it's got to feel good. Going into the second set, already up 5 games. Then we go to women's singles. We already said Pegula had beaten Kenin the only 2 times they faced each other going into this. More of the same from Pegula.
Jessica Pegula hurting Kenin early with a lot of depth on her shots, pushing Kenin behind the baseline.
There's a look at the game Kenin got in that 4th game. And she had a look to tie it up at 3 apiece. Maybe not the best shot selection there. Pegula gets the 4-2 lead, and here's set point. The backhand sails long. Now they're up 10-2 going into our 3rd set. That's going to be mixed doubles. This is the only one the Freedoms would take. That was Taylor Townsend and Fabrice Martin.
Fabrice Martin really made an effort to bounce back in the mixed doubles. Big serving, some good returns.
An example of this early start not going the way of the Freedoms, but this is the part where they bounce back. Fabrice Martin hits the backhand winner up the line. Taylor Townsend doing her thing, gets the drop volley winner. They take this 5-3. Maybe they're cutting into the lead. They're only down 6 going into the 4th set. And now it's women's doubles, and Pegula's staying on court for her 3rd set in a row.
Maybe the best tennis of the day right here from Jessica Pegula. Big credit too to Daria Jurek. Daria Jurek played aggressive in the big moments of the set. That really mattered for the Storm.
Yeah, good call, Mark. Talking a lot about the game of Pegula, but the veteran Jurek keeping her partner in check, doing great things at the net. great play all around in this one. Urax can get this tricky swinging volley right there. Dolhide puts it away. But here is set point, and it's Urak with the ace up the tee. Great playing from the Croat. Now we go into men's singles. Too big of a lead to overcome, but this was high-quality tennis between Fritz and Sandgren.
Big serving, big hitting, sideline to sideline tennis. Tennis Sangren with a great volley at the net.
Yeah, physical points out here in men's singles. There's a look at the huge serve from Taylor Fritz, but then he will get broken in that 8th game. Backhand will go long. Tennis Sangren starts out with the win in men's doubles. He finishes off in men's singles. And here's a look at the results. The Freedoms just get that middle set, and then it's all Storm for the other 4. 23-13 for the Storm. We'll be back one more time to wrap things up here at the beautiful Greenbrier, White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. Orlando Storm come out and shock the Philadelphia Freedoms 23-13. The Freedoms get their 2nd loss of the season. And with that, we're going to check out our updated standings. Storm now improved to 6-4. Playoff picture starting to get a little clearer, Mark.
Philadelphia got very lucky yesterday against the Breakers. They took a loss today. Maybe the rest of the league's pulling them back to the rest of the pack.
So much parity from top to bottom. Maybe tough to come back for OC in San Diego, but Vegas, Washington, definitely still in it for that top 4 spot. Each team will play 14 matches. And that was just our first of 4 matches in day 14, still 3 to go. Orange County and Springfield, San Diego, Washington. And then those 2 other current playoff teams, the New York Empire and the Chicago Smash. I'll be back calling that one with Mark Lucero. Very much looking forward to that one. But in this one, the Orlando Storm come out the gates hot, taking the first set 5-love, and they would not look back. They take 4 out of the 5 sets and get their 3rd win in a row. They improve to 6-4. That's going to do it for our first match on day 14 here at the Greenbrier. Big thanks to our Facebook viewers, to everyone in the truck, and of course around the stadium. For Nick Gismondi and Mark Lucero, I'm Jeff Chisever. Was the Storm over the Freedoms in dominating fashion. We'll see you next time.